is Lily and
Lindsay.
And we are here walking the conscious mind, thought manifestation, self-forgiveness, to give each one a practical example of how to approach self-forgiveness in relation to one's conscious mind thoughts, to assist and support oneself within that initial process of seeing, realizing, and understanding that I am able to, in fact, stop my thoughts. And within that, establish and start the process of establishing a self that live more here within the physical than accepting and allowing thoughts to preoccupy one's mind within and throughout one's day and creating all sorts of unnecessary reactions and stresses and anticipations and anxieties, but to be able to breeze through one day as breath in walking here with physical. So we're going to start with just basic self-forgiveness examples, especially for those that are also starting their processes of self-forgiveness and writing and practical application to get a gist of what self-forgiveness really is. Okay, and I'll begin, and Lindsay will follow with a statement, and so we'll continue back and forth. And here we go. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, within and throughout my life, think, believe, or perceive that who I am is my thoughts, because they have always been existent within my mind since I could remember. And within that belief, idea, or perception, accepted and allowed myself to make this way of existing as normal, when all the while not realizing, seeing, and understanding the extent to which my thoughts have actually preoccupied me from living here in the physical and breathing.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to give myself directive power away to my thoughts, and to, within that, believe my thoughts to be who I am. And within that, believe that if I was without my thoughts, I wouldn't know what to do, I wouldn't be alive, I would be a vegetable.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to make myself think, believe, and perceive that who I am is my thoughts to such an extent that if they wouldn't be existent within me anymore, that I would lose myself or be lost. Within not seeing, realizing, and understanding the simplicity of being able to simply say, stop, I do not accept and allow this thought, and making a directive decision to participate here in the physical and breathe is a practical, simple example that I'm in fact not my thoughts.
I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to so define myself by my thoughts that I actually fear that I would die if I were to stop my thoughts.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to give my thoughts power over and of me to such an extent that I've made myself think, believe, and perceive that without my thoughts I will cease to exist. And within that, making the statement that I do not have the power, ability, and responsibility to decide for me who I am, how I am, what I live, and how I express. But within that accepted and allowed application of power, and so application of responsibility, I've accepted and allowed myself to give all of that over to my thoughts, which within that tacitly implying that my thoughts are responsible for everything that is happening within me and my world, but me not seeing, realizing, and understanding within that I'm the one giving my thoughts the power. I'm the one that is abdicating my self-responsibility to my thoughts. And in that very action, I am in fact responsible for who I am, what I am, how I live, and how I express.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to make my mind into some sort of playground where I just let my thoughts run rampant and take me for a ride of ups and downs and here and there and everywhere, not realizing that I am not my thoughts and I can stop my thoughts, and being in that point of ups and downs and energetic movements is not who I am, and I do not have to enslave myself or victimize myself to my thoughts and my mind.
I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that my thoughts are only existent within my conscious mind as many parts of me that I've separated myself into and as, that I've accepted and allowed to have directive principle over and of me and my life and my living, because I've not been here within my physical, in my body, breathing and actually participating in my world and my reality, but I've within and throughout my life separated myself into my total mind consciousness system, with my thoughts in my conscious mind being that which is making sure that all the other separate parts of me are continuing to function and exist. And within that, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that my thoughts in the conscious mind are parts of me preoccupying me in a actual manifestation of saying to me, hey, here we are, here's all the little parts of you, pay attention, where are you, what's happening, as all my thoughts are jumping into all sorts of direction, kind of yelling or screaming, throwing tantrums like a child seeking attention. But I have been lost within my mind and all separate parts of me to such an extent that I'm not even seeing, realizing, understanding that I've in fact separated me. And to realize that I can assist and support myself to bring myself back to myself through walking through my mind consciousness system and finding out how it is that I've accepted and allowed myself to separate me, and that I'm starting with that process through walking this self-forgiveness and bringing myself back here through my writing and my practical application.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to let my thoughts direct who I am. And within that, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to splinter myself off into so many directions and avenues of my mind that I completely, in essence, lose myself and disregard life, in that not realizing that the physical is that which is consistent and tangible and support for myself.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, through my conscious mind and my thought participation in all the separate manifested parts of me, preoccupy myself into and as an alternate dimension within myself, which within that has become me to such an extent that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how I have in fact separated me from the physical, from what is real, from what is substantial, and that I have all this time accepted and allowed myself to exist in absolute separation from and of what is real here as the physical. And within that, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to all this time miss me.
I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to react to my thoughts within the initial point of realizing I'm not my thoughts, and then the point of overwhelmingness that comes with that, where I believe, think, and perceive that I am crazy, or what happened to me, so as to create another further point of sabotaging myself from simply slowing down, breathing, and realizing that I am here.
Cool. Happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's some points of realization within self-forgiveness that one can also consider having a look at in relation to one's relationship with one's thoughts, in seeing, realizing, understanding that who we really are is not our thoughts. Yet at the moment we are our thoughts within the context of how we accepted and allowed the thoughts to continue preoccupying us, directing us, influencing us, and controlling us within the conscious mind. And that within one's process, as one continue walking, one will see how the thoughts that preoccupied one's conscious mind is actual individual manifestations of one's bigger, greater systems within one's subconscious and unconscious mind that one will face later in one's process as the personalities and the resonances and physical minds and patterns and habits and things like that that one developed. And so here within the self-forgiveness, what's very cool to note is to walk it through for oneself, because there's some practical points within it to have a look at in relation to self's relationship with the mind and thoughts. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.